everyone. This is Joycey. What happened? I had it down this time.
And this is Blake. And welcome to Savagely Scaled.
It is 6 p.m. 6:30 on a Friday Valentine's Day, and we are obviously exhausted.
I'm spending it with my Valentine.
That's right. I'm sorry, Chris.
My second husband.
I know. He got mad. Don't get mad. I love you. Anyways, in this episode, we're going to cover a lot. First and foremost, we want to talk a little bit about lifters, the shoe. You know, where did it come from? What are they? When were they made? Why were they made? So just giving you a bit of background there. And maybe just share a little bit of the lifters we use, too.
Yeah,
that's
true, because there's so many.
There's so many
now.
It's overwhelming now. Yeah. And then we'll talk a little bit about the CrossFit world, you know.
I'm going to punch you in the face.
What?
We don't even need to bring that in. That's what organically means. It's just sprung on them.
So how do I spring it? What do I say?
After we talk about all the lifting stuff.
Oh,
like,
so
that was a good episode. You'd be like, oh my gosh, girl, what have we heard?
Oh, I thought you meant at the beginning. Oh my goodness. I was like, wait, what did I miss at the beginning then? But I was like, CrossFit worlds could be really vague. You know, we could just say, like...
This was a whole episode I was planning to surprise you guys with. And be like, oh my gosh, what happened?
It's still a surprise. It's coming. It's coming.
So let's go with lifters.
Yeah, let's start with lifters first and foremost. Lifters, okay, Jenny, I need you to calm down. The international sport of weightlifting, first and foremost, started back in 1891 in London. I had no idea it was back in London. I was like, where did that even come from? But anyways, before then, it could be traced back to ancient Greece and Egyptian culture. So it was something that was invented a long time ago. It just wasn't official until London came into the picture. But as of today, Olympic weightlifting continues to grow in popularity and competitiveness. Countries like China, North Korea, the U.S. have become huge powerhouses in the sport.
I feel like Europe is very big.
And
or
with
even
all of that?
Asian,
Yeah, honestly, I had no idea until this episode. I was doing a lot of research.
I feel it's like also like you guys like watch Olympics and it's like gymnastics and things like that. Some of the
that's the biggest
are more
thing.
of the Asian cultures.
That's true.
Of it, yeah. It is a very Olympic lifting is a very rough sport, and I feel like you have to have determination and you have to be very consistent and you have to drill and kill. And I'm like,
it's hard.
Sometimes Americans are lazy.
Well, you know, they're still a powerhouse, though. They're still up there. You know.
Yeah.
We're still giving them a run for their money, but it's kind of great that, like you said, all of these cultures are all contributing to like the rich history of what is Olympic weightlifting now.
Yeah.
So, one of the main tools that weightlifters use in their lifting is the weightlifter shoe. So, what are lifters? So, again, the lifters are pretty much the type of shoes that are worn by Olympic weightlifters. And it's probably their most distinctive piece of equipment that they use for lifting. Of course, there's many other things, right? We have the belts. We have sometimes the wraps that go on the wrist. We have other things that weightlifters use, but the shoe would probably be the biggest thing that you definitely want to have down if you're going to enter that sport.
Yeah.
Weightlifting shoes are typically designed with the raised heel of about 0.5 to 1.5 inches. And 1 or 2 metatarsal straps that usually tighten across the instep of the shoe. So it's usually like those Velcro straps that you saw back in the 90s. Pretty similar to that. Usually what that 1.5 inch heel does is that it helps the lifter maintain an upright torso while catching the bar. And it also is amazing at helping create a deeper squat. And I laugh at this all the time because I'm like, because every time I wear high heels, I love squatting in high heels because you just feel like the depth goes so fast. Those things, and you're just like, these things look great.
Now we know what Joycey does on a Saturday because she's not doing it on a Friday right now.
I drop it low.
Let's go clean in our heels.
Crack. Passing the vacuum. Hasha. Drop it. Oh, that's my Friday night later. That's just kidding.
Like when I was in Miami for the club life, it was like it's easier to squat in these. It's
I don't know
what
it is.
Up nowadays.
That's the challenge. That there, man. That there is a challenge. But I do feel really good when I squat with lifters. Like I feel more mobile almost. Like,
yeah, I mean they're like some people say it's a heavy shoe. I don't feel like it's as heavy if you get used to it.
It is heavier, yeah.
But yeah, like back in the day when I first started, before I even had lifters, like they would put the 2.5
the
plates.
Heels? Oh, the plates on the bottom.
Yep. Under your shoe if you weren't squatting correctly.
That makes sense too.
Or to help you with that in a sense of a lifter. But yeah, I feel like lifters are more of an aid for it. We should still practice our squatting mobility in our regular workout shoes, or Saturday night, clean, put some Usher on, some Kendrick Lamar.
Hasn't really improved my mobility though, I might say.
Yeah. So it's still ankle mobility, which when you ask Joycey, when we went out to dinner, I sat down and both my ankles were
I was like, whoa. I was just like, oh, haha. Yep, that's us, man. That happens. That happened to me yesterday in our squats, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I personally love the heel. I feel like it definitely does help me get down really low in that squat. So that's predominantly the reasoning behind that heel. The sole of the shoes are also quite rigid, which helps resist compression while under heavy loads. So they were pretty much designed for maximum stability while remaining flexible in the toe box. So you'll talk to a lot of athletes who have weightlifting shoes who are very like, oh, the toe box is too tight, like, or the toe box has enough space. And to some athletes, that's very important. And I think, that's the biggest complaint I hear from.
I feel like the biggest thing is because, like, even in class, when we tell you, like, your feet should be spreading and grabbing the floor, if you have a narrow toe box, or even, like, we've talked to some people about, actually, your shoe size is the wrong size if your toes are pressing too far forward. Yeah. If your toes are on top of you crunching, like, then, there's no way for you to grab the floor properly without distorting, like, how your foot placement is. Because I can do that too if I don't have my inserts in. I just distort it. Like, I'll do it, but I'll overly extend my foot to create an arch, and then my weight goes on the outside compared to my whole foot. So I do feel that, like, when you start to understand it, especially if you're going into lifting, which we do have an episode on that with Chris Simmons, who also programs for weightlifting, I feel like your shoe should help you. And it shouldn't just be like, oh, because they have a Nike lifter, I'm going to get a Nike lifter. I mean, I know we'll probably go into this, but I always have a recommendation for, like, a first time lifting shoe. Sorry, I have hiccups, guys.
It's all good.
And then once you start to get into lifting, what you should go into.
What would be your first time?
Reebok, because they're on sale most of the time.
That's true. I did love my first Reebok.
Really good sales, and it's a good lifter. It's in between narrow toe box and a wider toe box. It's something to get used to. It's a really good getting used to wearing lifter shoe at a good price. Because Blake doesn't like when you guys buy like $200 lifters and you absolutely hate them, and then you spent the money and then you have to sell them on Poshmark or at the gym for less. True. Right? So if you can get those lifters at like $100 or less, let's try them out that way. They also come in great colors. I've been lifting in Reeboks since 2015. I know you switched to Nikes, which I think is better for your foot. And that's just like also what you prefer. Yeah,
I did love my Reeboks, though. They were my good first week.
Yeah, I feel like they're a really good first pair of weightlifting shoes to really start to understand what my lifter should do. Is a lifter going to make you a better lifter? Not at all. It's also technique. Now, Blake, a baby lifter, thought that. She was like, I'm going to go out and
get all the tools
and get my lifters. And it still didn't help with my hiccup. It's all about technique, consistency with learning how to lift, having a great coach, doing all that programming, right? We can only get better also if we're taking that information in. And with lifting, for me, it's doing those little fixes each time to do a big fix, right? I can't always have that big fix or recollection of like, aha, now I have an amazing clean, and it's always going to hit that way. It's not. Yep.
Mobility too, though, man.
Mobility is a big one. Your lifting shoes are not going to help you
Huge
get
one.
better mobility. But I do think lifting, especially if we're getting into higher percentages, higher weight, we should be looking into that. Just the same with a lifting belt.
Mm-hmm.
Is it good to build good lifting postures and things in regular shoes? Yes. Also, like good stabilization without a belt.
Yeah.
Yes. But when you start to get into very, very heavy weight and you haven't been doing this, if this is just a pastime, CrossFit is just a pastime, Olympic lifting is a pastime, you do need those precautions, right? I'm older. I do need a belt. But I do try, if I'm having different percentages, my percentages are going up. That time when a belt is needed is also going up as well.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's why I could understand how people who just join CrossFit like see these things and they're like, how overwhelming, that's a lot. Like, you know, these shoes and now there's weightlifting and now these straps and now I need to get knee sleeves and I need to get belt. Like it can be very overwhelming for sure.
It is, and you don't always have to get everything like
right. Yeah.
Also, like every gym I've been to, there was also like those opportunities where somebody's like, "Hey, these knee sleeves don't fit me anymore. Do you want to try them out?"
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I got the wrong size in this belt. Do you want this? Things like that. Where you do have those opportunities if we've had those relationships at a gym. But those are or even talking to somebody. I said this in like probably like episode 3 or 5. Like actually talking to people, I would do that. I'd be like, what shoes are you wearing? Do you like them? Are they wider? Are they true to size? What do they feel like? And I would always go off of like, especially when
I do that all the time.
Yeah, Noble came out, and I was like, is it more of a Nike or is it more of a Reebok shoe? Because I'm a Reebok. I love Reebok. But I have gotten into tier, and I do like my tier 1s. And that's actually the next lifting shoe that I would like to get, even though I feel like I'm joining the cult in our Olympic and our lifting group because that's all they have. So
it's telling. It must be good.
But I have tried them on, and I do like the toe box.
There you go.
Because I like a wider toe box. That's why I like Reebok shoes. Reebok lifters aren't wider toe box in some senses.
I do like a snugger fit.
Yeah, and I don't like Nikes because it's a snug fit.
I know, I like snug fits.
Yeah, I just can't. But yeah, that's like the next shoe, and then that's what we're talking about. Like tiers can go up to like $300.
Yep.
You know, and I was so excited one day. I was like, "Oh, they have a sale," and I was like, "Oh, it's $150," and I was like, "They're normally $200." I was like, $50 off. Come on, tier.
And now they're coming out with such.
They just colors. Got purple and pink, and I really, 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 really want them.
I know they're pretty.
Yeah.
How much are those running for?
I think they're $225.
I mean,
I wear my lifters. I can put justification in it.
Yeah, and your birthday's coming up.
And it is. But I can also put justification on my kids need things and my house needs things. So we will see what Blake gets. But it's an investment. To me, they're a good investment if you plan on using them.
Yeah.
If you plan on just getting them because people told you to get them and they said that your lifts will be way better, that is not why we get them. We get them because we are growing and lifting and we're going to use them.
I want to say I didn't really start using lifters until maybe a year in.
Yeah.
At least.
I think like that's the perfect thing too because you're still getting used to. You don't even know the moves that much yet. Yeah. When we're talking to Lindsay, I think that's Andrew's relative, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry," and I was like, "No, don't say sorry because you're a newbie. So like you have grace for like 6 months or a year. Just tell people you've only been doing it for a year, and they're like, oh, okay.
Then you can't use it anymore.
Yeah. A year and a month, you can't use it. It's returnable. No.
There's a flat deadline.
But there's so many things to learn in your first year of CrossFit that, like, lifters are not one of them. Unless you have a background in lifting or you have a background in something and you catch on to a lot of things. But yeah, I didn't get lifters until like I was like in CrossFit for a year and a half or 2 years. And it wasn't until I went to a gym and they're like, oh, you should get some lifters because, you know, you're starting to lift heavy. They can help correct a little bit, but not a lot. And I just heard, they'll correct. So I got them because I was like, they're going to make me a better lifter. They did not.
I mean, no, yeah. I think like we've said before, it always comes down to the fundamentals. But I mean, definitely something to look into. There's different kinds of heel constructions. Like Blake said, there's different kinds of, toe boxes. There's different things to take into account. But most modern weightlifting shoes do use a hard, what they call TPU plastic heel. That does not deform and it's more durable than other materials. However, there's been like a resurgence also of like premium shoes that have like wood heels, and we saw that in Tier, which are harder, but something cool, and I guess something to take into account when looking at lifters. When were they made? So when looking into the history, I thought it was really fascinating because it was kind of hard to find information on lifters and how they were created and all of that. But it began in the middle of the 20th century with lifters pretty much just experimenting with like boxing shoes and work boots and just kind of doing their best with what they had, pretty much. With time, they found out like this is obviously not going to work. These shoes are very heavy, and they're very.
Get some work boots on.
Girl, I have no idea. And they're too troublesome. They restrict ankle mobility.
I got all these laces. I got to lace them all the way up. Yeah, no doubt.
Right. And the Soviets were actually those that paved the way for what we know as lifters now. So they started actually nailing in raised heels on leather soles of the shoes. And it started becoming, very popular amongst lifters in the 60s and 70s. They started creating lifters that were made out of like leather with leather soles and like leather buckles and stuff like that. So the early renditions weren't the best. I think a lot of lifters were kind of speaking to the fact that they were very slippery on wooden surfaces when they would have the leather. So that was something that eventually with time they had to kind of change.
Yeah, how would sweat be?
Right? I don't know. Yeah, it does not seem like something that seems...
Would it be in the insole too? Was it leather insole?
I didn't see... It just said leather soles. Okay. Yeah, so who knows there. But yeah, a lot of lifters just found this to be, again, wasn't working. Yeah. And I think with that, I would say without a question, the principal attraction were Soviet-style shoes. They ended up kind of taking over the whole weightlifting community. Those shoes were the ones that all lifters were pretty much using at the time. And it had, I would say in the 1970s was when we started seeing a big change. So Tommy Kono, he was one of the era's most successful Olympic lifters at the time. He started collaborating with Adidas to design weightlifting shoes, where they focused on abandoning the high top design that you see, obviously because of ankle mobility. They were like, we need to completely abandon that and not use high tops.
That shoe just seems very hot.
Right? And I'm like, well, obviously that makes sense. Eliminate the high top. That's a good factor.
Big calves?
Girl?
That just seems so
constricting. I have big calves.
Like when people feel claustrophobic? I do have big calves. Like high tops make me feel claustrophobic. God.
Yeah. I feel, or when I wear like those boots, like those high boots to the knees, and I have pretty big calves. So mine never tend to fit in those. I'm like,
I always get the stretchy ones.
Yeah, see. But I feel discriminated against for my calves.
Yeah. Your legs are so
I can't lift it this high. But look at those calves. I do have meaty calves. Oh my god, I'm cramping. I love how we got this whole video. Oh my god.
Leg and she's cramping. She literally was like,
girl, don't do it. It's not worth it. I literally am cramping.
I'm not gonna do it.
Anyways, back to news with my legs cramped. It is 7:30. This is why my leg is cramping. I haven't taken my magnesium, so this is why this is happening.
But this is a late night one.
Oh my god.
Do late night ones.
I feel like an old lady. Oh man.
Okay, so go back to
that was hilarious.
So they went back to like the regular shoe instead of the high top.
Tommy Kono, yes, he eliminated the high top, so he's like, let's completely get rid of that because that's what's bothering our ankle mobility, which makes sense. I mean, who wants to wear a high top to a boot, right? I mean, and it is a boxer thing. Boxers wear the high top shoes.
But isn't it like a lighter shoe to move around?
It is. So I mean, that they had to kind of explore all of that, but when you think back, it's like it was the 70s, so it wasn't even that long ago. So it's like I feel like there's still so much more development that lifters can still have, and it seems like Tier is one of the brands that's like revolutionizing that and kind of.
Which is so weird because they came from an aquatic background.
Yeah, I was a swimmer for like a lot of high school, and they were like the number one like swimming brand.
They were, but I always wore
I like
Speedo.
Tier.
I
Did
didn't
you?
like Tier that much. I like
Speedo.
Speedo.
Was pretty up there too.
Yeah,
Speedo was pretty up there.
Totally off topic.
Sorry, I know this is what happens on Friday nights. But yeah, so that started. They completely opted that out, and since then, for over 40 years, Adidas has continued to and still does design lifters. I actually didn't know that and started.
They had like one of the tops. Like when I was going, you guys, we also like a couple years ago had like a lifter shortage. And I was like, oh, I need to buy new lifters because my strap broke. That is one thing with Reebok, old Reeboks. Their strap would break, and now they have
mine
ones,
did too.
Yeah,
that's funny.
But now they have ones that you can buy just the strap and put it in. Mine was not. You couldn't do it.
Mine either.
So it was. I was looking for Adidas. Adidas was like one of the top brands for many years. Yeah. I looked at Noble. Noble has a little bit less of a heel. And
I like the heel.
I couldn't find any, and the only one I could find was old Reebok or Nike. And Nike at the time, because they were having like a shortage of making it, and Tier was just started, they were like $250, $300, and I was like, no, I can't do that right now. Ooh. No, so I had to wait for Reebok, and then I wanted a certain color, but they didn't have the color. Yeah, it was like a year and a half or a year, 2 years ago that you couldn't find lifters at all, and I was like, no.
You're right. It's really taken off now that I think about it. It's
and
like
Allie used to have Adidas lifters.
Really?
Mm-hmm. She just bought Noble ones and has been using Noble. And I feel like the Noble ones look very similar to her Adidas one. Like the heel still was not as big.
Interesting.
Of her Adidas that she bought.
I need to look into those. I like my lifters. I personally, I guess we can go into it since we're talking about why we use lifters. But I started with the Reeboks, and I had those for a good 2.5 years. Like, they lasted me a good amount of time, and I love them. I felt comfortable with them. They were great, like, no problems. And then they just grew. I mean, 2.5 years of using them. The strap broke. I was just like, I need a new pair. And I did my research. You know, I asked around. Like you said, all the girls were wearing Tier, and I was like, You know, part of me was like, I kind of want to follow the record, you know, and like do everything that everyone is using. So I was like, and then everyone had the colors that I already wanted. So I was like, I need a shoe that I can match with everything, because you know me and my outfits, I like to kind of match.
Yeah.
So I did talk to Coach Jason, and he's like, you got to try the Nikes, you know, they're the best. And I was like, he's a big advocate for Nike. So I looked into them, I heard a lot of great things, and I invested in the Nike lifters, and they've done me pretty good so far. They do feel heavier than my Reeboks, but I feel like I'm able to kind of hear the stomp more. I'm able to, like, I don't know, I feel more stable in them because the sole of it feels really flat to me. Like, it feels very light.
Yeah, Reebok are a very light lifter.
They're very light.
And I think for us, because we tend to go on our toes because of our ankle mobility,
we need a little heft.
Yeah, and it takes more of an effort to actually do the correct movement correctly to hear that boom. And maybe you needed to
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
You're right, because I do go on my toes a lot. That makes sense. But yeah, those are the lifters that I use, and I like them pretty well.
Yeah, I think you've been moving better with them.
And also Coach Chris's weightlifting.
Yeah, I mean, he always helps with that too. But yeah, my future is going to be some Tiers and maybe the purple and pink ones, because they keep coming out with really great colors.
They're coming out with prettier stuff.
And I would like to try them. I feel like if a lot of people have them and are using them and enjoy them, then why not try them? I've had 3 different pairs of Reebok lifters, so
it's time to switch it up,
and I'm excited for that.
I'm excited too.
If I get it, because you guys are the praise.
I mean, I do love, like you said, that you can see other people at the gym and ask, like, hey, how did you like your lifters? Like, those look cute. Like, I might get that pair, you know? So
that's the same with clothes. Like, I always ask people, like, how do you feel with those clothes? How do you feel with the size? What is this? Like, I'm also, a lot of people ask me, like, oh, what size do you wear in that? I'm like a medium. And I feel like mediums and workout clothes is very diverse and goes to a lot of people. And sometimes when they look at me, they're like, oh, well, then I'm probably a small or a large. I'm like, no, you're a medium too. I'm just really stout. So it's gonna look completely different. But I'm like, it's the same as shoes and clothes. Like, how does that feel? Like, a lot of us have really big traps as girls at the gym, and if a bra doesn't feel comfortable, I am not a problem to be like, would you get that? Did you like it? And if somebody's like, no, I didn't like it because how it went here and here, then I'm like, I ain't getting it.
Yeah.
Especially if they're built very similar to me, then I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna buy something that's gonna hurt.
You're so right. I'm not thinking about the traps because that's why I'm a large on the top, but a medium on the bottom. But yeah, usually when I try a medium, it's like it hurts. Yeah, those traps get on the.
Yeah, if you get certain ones, they dig into your traps or they dig into your lats, because our lats get a little.
We got big wings now, ladies.
But yeah, I ask around. That is my biggest thing of what Blake should buy and what types. And I'm also like the weird one at the gym, just saying whatever is in my brain and asking whatever questions in my brain. So don't be afraid to do it because I do it too. Yeah.
She'll put you on blast.
It don't make me mad.
You wear a small sports bra? I wish. There's no way. Anyways, but yeah, weightlifting journey. Anything going on with you in your weightlifting journey?
Yeah.
Catching up on lifting?
So we're actually starting a new programming Monday, and there's like a couple of events that we're gonna go to, but unfortunately Chris is not available to coach us at those things, so we will not be going to that. So he found a virtual way of doing it, which I'm really excited because that means I get to do it at the gym.
Busy man, but look at you go.
But I'm excited to have like my first meet at the gym in my comfort zone, and it's for us to qualify for Texas, and I really, 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 really want to go. So that also means like Blake's going into a different weight class, and she's gonna do that, and I'm gonna have everything work. But that's also like 8 weeks.
How exciting! Oh well, like 8 weeks. That's still exciting though.
Yeah, so it was
good stuff for all of y'all.
We were in a text message group. Me, Rachel, Maddie, Heather has already automatically qualified, and Ginger were in one. And he's like, "Oh yeah, that means 8 weeks." And I was like, "All right, can we start programming for it now because we still had another week for this beach body?" And
that's why you guys have been in class.
And I'm like, I'm tired of doing that. And he's like, you could just go to class. I was like, I never have time to actually go to a class because I'm coaching. But I was like, can we just start programming now then? If I only have 8 weeks, I want every single week.
Right.
And Rachel was like, I second that. And Chris was like, are you guys talking behind my back? Something like that. And me and Rachel haven't seen each other in like a month. Or in a month and a half, and she's like, I haven't seen Blake. No.
Does it feel that way then?
Yeah. And I was like, no, it's because I haven't said anything. And he's like, yeah, I guess I'm gonna have to do that. I was like, yeah, bro, you got 8 weeks.
And you're like, we want to be ready, man.
I do. I want to be ready. I want to make sure that I'm doing everything. I'm back to my excited stuff because you guys, Beachbody was like accessories for an hour, and I like me a good accessory, but I don't like to do accessories for an hour. So when he had me do like my day for power snatches and power cleans, I was like, yes, back to the lifting. Finally doing it, and I got so excited yesterday.
I feel like that's what happens with lifters after they take a break. They're like, we kind of miss it, and you need a little bit of that.
Yeah. I mean, I loved going to work out in Prescott. I love doing the workout today. Like, I still really, really enjoy it.
Aww.
And so I'm still a CrossFit person at heart, but damn it, I'm doing a meet.
Yeah.
And I put all this work into getting better at my lifts without doing a freaking meet.
It's happening. You said it's virtual?
Yeah, so I'm doing it in, we'll be doing it in the gym.
How can
I don't know if he's going to have an event because that is not, I don't know those things. I'm like, I just know I get to do it in the comfort of my home.
That is pretty cool. Well, if we can virtually support you from our house or anything, let us know.
Yeah.
We would love to.
So that's the next step.
I'm going to be there obviously because I'm her husband, but
I'm super excited for that, and I can't wait, and I'm going to lift some heavy stuff.
There you go.
I'm going to qualify for Texas. That's my plan.
That's right.
Yep.
Don't happen.
But yeah, that's just the news for my weightlifting corner.
Nice.
You got any other news?
I am not weightlifting on my end. I'm just going to class per usual.
She's lifting her leg. She's gonna get a cramp again.
I'm just so excited. I'm like, Blake did it. She's going on late. And I'm about to kick Kylo. No, but no updates on mine. Just trying to perfect some skills and stuff. But
getting ready for something.
Yeah, I guess I'll announce it here officially live and then Savagely Scaled. I guess I mentioned it to just, trickle it a few people because I wasn't really sure if I was going to do this, but upcoming comps, one of the biggest ones that's upcoming for us and for King and CrossFit too, because a lot of our people are participating, is the Festivus Games.
Which is a great first competition to go to.
It is. It's fantastic. People are very nice. It's a very small, intimate gym. Like, it's a great vibe.
So, like anywhere, because Festivus, they hold the event the same day, just at different gyms. But their workouts and how they run them, and it's a very welcoming. The weights are very nice. It is nothing too headstrong. So if you're one of those to be like, I don't know if I want to do a competition, Festivus is the way, because they also allow like teams and individuals the same day, which I'm gonna do. I'm gonna sign up for individual. Yeah, so it's gonna be this year. It's gonna be 3-person teams or individual. So we have a few 3-person teams going in. I don't know if anyone else is doing individual, but I decided to sign up as an individual intermediate for the Festivus Games. My first ever solo competition. We'll see how it goes. Yep.
But I'm excited for
Blake
that.
Is gonna be there to cheer her on
and take the pictures.
Yes.
And the video.
Yep.
And rub my legs out.
Yes.
I'm just kidding.
With some sweet cream.
Yeah, pour some sweet cream on it. No, but we're excited. Like I said, a lot of us are signed up for the gym. It is on Saturday, April 26th at Best Damn CrossFit in Boulder City, Nevada, at least the one where we're going to. It starts at 8 a.m., so if you guys want to, spectate, just show up and be there, you're welcome to. They do allow people to show up. You will probably have to take a little tent, some chairs, and things like that. So we'll have
hanging out with Savagely Scaled. I'll be around.
We'll have our own, so feel free to jump on in. It is about $80 for individuals who want to participate and $140 for teams of 3. So if you want to...
And see, those prices for a first-time competition person or even a second-time, really good. Really, really nice pricing. The higher you go, the bigger the stakes. It's hard. And then you're getting money with those. Festivus, not so much. You're getting more of like the swag and stuff like that. But again, great with price for a good first 1 or even 2 or even a first individual competition.
True. And it comes with, I think, a t-shirt if you register by, I think, April 19th. So make sure to register by then if you do want to participate. It's a very fun time. But yeah, Festivus Games is one of the upcoming ones. There's another one that I just heard of and found that is in Mesa, Arizona. That one's called Raid Ho, and I apologize if I'm not pronouncing that right. Raid Ho Rampage. This is also actually just an individual on-site competition. So no teams, which was kind of fascinating to me. The divisions include beginners, intermediate, and advanced. And the event consists of 3 workouts and 1 floater workout. So pretty similar to Festivus Games. They have 3 events, 3 workouts, and then 1 floater one. I think this one is exactly the same day as Festivus, so it's on Saturday, April 26th. This one is at CrossFit Raid Ho in Mesa, Arizona. That one starts at 7 a.m. So if you're interested in participating in that one, register by April 20th. And by April 9th, if you want a t-shirt in that registration. I think it's $110 per individual. So given that it's expensive, I'm assuming there's probably higher stakes,
but there might be money for that. I mean, it just depends.
Yeah.
I love a good competition, so I'm excited to cheer you on.
Yeah. And then I think...
I'm sad, though. I wish I could do that.
You should do it. But you can't because of the weightlifting.
Yeah.
Well, you got to pick your choice. Maybe next year.
Maybe next year.
The workouts for Festivus are actually already released. So if you guys want to check that out, you can go to festivusgames.com/WODs. For Raid Ho Rampage, they're kind of doing it more like open style. They're going to be releasing the first workout, I think, on March 17th. And then,
love that style.
Right? And then 1 week after that, just continuously releasing the following workout. So I was like, that's cool. That's kind of a good way to do it.
Yeah, and you can still kind of practice with them.
Yeah, you got a month.
I do like Festivus. Like, they let you know right out the gate, and then you practice with your team, and stuff like that. I always say, like, first practice is you guys getting to know each other if you've never practiced with a team. And then the second one, time you meet up and do that workout, then you know what you need to do. And by the third time, you're already at the competition, and adrenaline hits, and you're gonna hit better numbers.
True. I just can't stop staring at my shiny forehead. Look at that thing. I can't. It reminds me of high school.
Oh my
It's in the
God.
picture. Yeah. Anyways, the last one is the Open. So that's a big upcoming event. If you guys haven't registered, do it. It's a fun, great time. Do you remember your first Open?
I do remember my first Open. I thought we were going to talk with Andrew about our first Open.
We can totally talk in detail there, but I was just saying, do you remember those good times? It was tough. It was fun, but I don't know.
I was pregnant.
Were you?
Mm-hmm. I just found out I was pregnant with Weston.
Oh, wow. I was not pregnant.
But
I was not pregnant, but I did struggle my first time. But
why you say I struggled?
I struggled a little bit. I struggled. I mean, you know,
It's really
but it was a
good
lot of fun.
event.
Yeah.
But yeah, there is some sad news.
Because I think I did the Open like barely 3 months into CrossFit. Damn.
Mm-hmm.
Damn. But either way, register, do it, get it done. It's a lot of fun. It's a 3-week worldwide competition again for those, reminding everyone there. And I think it starts and takes place February 27th through March 17th. So I think the first workout, or all workouts are released like Thursdays at 1 p.m. noon Pacific time, or 1 p.m. Pacific time. And you have until Monday at 5 p.m. Pacific time to pretty much turn in your scores for that Open workout. And you can pretty much through the app just track how you're doing in your gym, how you're doing in your like division, age group, all of that. So it's a pretty cool feature if you guys haven't used the app before. But other than that, I think it's like $20 to register for the Open. There's also bundles on CrossFit.com if you want to take the judges course and buy a t-shirt for the Open. So look into that if you're interested. But
yeah, I had to do that.
Yeah, well, I'm not taking the judges course.
I was like, they had the Open, or they had the judges course, or they had you had to get all three, and I was like, why can't I just get the Open and the judges?
We're kind of upset. And I'm like, I don't even want.
But yeah,
you know why? You want to know why I want? Not just. Anyways, tea, girl, tea.
I'm so sad.
CrossFit tea, guys.
I'm so sad because I just saw today that Pat Blayne is not going to be doing that.
You know who else is not doing that?
Annie Thorstad.
You know who else isn't doing that? Who? Chandler Smith. He also posted that he's not doing that.
See, I had a feeling he wasn't going to do the Open. I didn't even know that.
Yep, girl. But just check out how they write it out. I need to pop it up. I saved it on my Instagram.
Well, Pat Bellner's was because it's basically like, why am I going to stand for a company that's not putting their athletes first? Which I think that's a good stand, and I believe Annie Thorstad did the same thing.
Said the same thing, yeah.
Which good for them. Like that, you know, to make a change, people need to stand up and say this is not okay. But I'm super sad because I've been watching Pat Bellner since like I started CrossFit.
Girl.
What did Chandler say?
He said the following. He's like, what's the point of having a voice if it gets stuck inside your throat? Today I'm using my voice and following it up with action. I will not be competing in the 2025 CrossFit Games season. I'm extremely thankful for what I've been given, but gratitude and blind loyalty are not the same thing.
Yeah, that says a lot.
I was like, boom.
And I know, like, Pat Bellner said that he'd be competing in all kinds of other things, and there is that new competition in the USA.
Jimmy's not happy. Hey! Snack. I'm like, snack gets him every time.
What is that? Like, world function?
Hey!
I can edit this out. But
okay.
Yeah, he's competing in, it's called the WFA.
World function.
Not world function, maybe world. It is.
Hey! I'll go check.
Yeah, go check.
Did you lock your car and everything?
Yeah.
Not that it's sketchy out here, but, you know.
Did you count it? Yeah, I think it was like WFA competition, the ultimate guide to local CrossFit competitions. No, it was something. I'm gonna have to take that one. It was it's something.
And it's a competition.
Gonna be doing different competitions and one that are more geared to listening to the athlete. But I mean, a lot of them, like their friend passed away, and like we talked about Brooke Wells going on, and they're still not getting transparency of what's going on, and they're talking about like for Pat Bellner, he was talking about because CrossFit did create a group for athletes and safety, but it's basically an internal group, and they've already had those types, and the athletes were asking for an external group like the PFAA or something else that they can vote in these people.
I agree.
Past athletes that or athletes now that are voicing these concerns and where we can help. I feel like if you're, oh my gosh,
I'm gonna take a sip. Take a sip. No, but I'm with you. I think she does bring a valid point in that it should be kind of more voted, and it shouldn't be more like an inside job.
Yeah, where they interview people to side with them. That's not okay.
It just doesn't seem right.
No.
And I feel like a lot of the athletes are becoming, more aware, or maybe feeling a little bit more united in that front. And it's kind of great to see how a lot in the community are getting together to kind of represent this cause. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's also just, it's still very heavy. It's still very heavy.
It is, because like I'm super sad that a lot of these athletes that I have looked up to in being in CrossFit, and again, Annie is a mom of two, working out.
That's a big one.
Pat Bellner, I've been watching since I can remember being in CrossFit, and that was the same with Brent Fikowski, Chandler Smith. There's people that I have grown up or are similar age to me that I look up to working out. And to see them, I'm so happy that they're standing up for something, because I do believe in standing up for things that you believe in and letting your voice be heard. And it's sad that they are not, and that they're feeling that their voice is being muted, and that they have to do it this other way. Because all three of them, this is a livelihood. This is something that they love. This is something that created closeness in their community. This is something where they found forever friends and family, and some even found their future partner. That is not allowing them to feel the way that they used to. And I get that things grow and things have to make money and things have to do better, but if a big part of that is asking you to do better, then maybe that company should be listening, because I mean, open numbers are down as well.
I haven't been paying attention
if these
to that.
huge athletes are telling their followers these things,
I could see people standing by that too and being like, you know what, like this feels right.
Yeah, you need to listen to something. You need, if anything, you guys should have been transparent with these athletes. You don't have to be transparent with us as much, but with these athletes that you hold their lives in, and what you're pushing them to do, and they're feeling more of like a puppet that you are pushing them too far. You kind of should be listening to them, because they're the reason why people watch. They're the people nowadays why people want to do CrossFit or look up to. There is still that aspect of I don't want to look like that, but this younger age with getting into CrossFit and seeing teens and even older athletes, like, you start looking into that.
It's going to be an interesting Open, interesting CrossFit Games. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Man, heavy news, man. I just saw that right before our podcast, and I was like, oh,
I know. So sad.
Well, who was the first person you heard dropped out. I heard Annie was the first person from where I saw.
Oh yeah, I heard Annie,
and
then I heard Pat,
and yeah, same.
and then I didn't hear Chandler.
And then Chandler, yeah.
And I knew Katrin wasn't doing it; she was retiring.
But yeah, that's wild.
Some big names, but
yeah, and I
mean,
else. I think that's pretty much it. And I mean, who knows who else is probably going to drop out that we don't know of yet, honestly. So I could see more people dropping out.
And it's like also like speaking to their character, like, do I want to see an Open? Do I want to see a CrossFit Games? Yes, I do. So I'm still hooked to that. Or I'm like, I'm not.
You're so right.
CrossFit Games,
but it's also going to be telling of like the impact that these athletes have in the sport. So maybe, like you said, it's a way for them to recognize, like, hey, if you're not in it, most likely your ratings and your is going to go. Everything's going to be impacted because of this.
And that's money.
Yeah,
that is money. So maybe we should listen to somebody.
We'll find out.
Doesn't have to be me.
Yeah, because you're like, nobody listens to me.
No.
Hey, I listened to you today.
They listened today.
I listened to you. You did. Even though part of me was like this close, and I was like, no, Dave, don't do it.
Also, didn't really try and practice.
Yeah. I was tired. My knee hurts.
Yeah.
You saw my cramp.
But if you feel like this podcast is your swig pre-workout,
that's right.
Please subscribe. This video is on YouTube, so subscribe to our channel. Hit follow and like so you don't miss out on an episode, because why would you want to miss out on this craziness?
Exactly. And my cramping.
Yeah. Hit those 5 stars. Leave a review and a comment. That helps us so much. An Apple Podcast review or even one on YouTube. Let us know what you think about the Open and if you'll be missing any of these heavy hitters and what you think about it.
Oh, did you register?
Yes. Don't forget to register, because we will put the link down in our show notes.
That's
right.
In
the show notes, you scroll down, all that writing about our episode, and at the end, it will have the Open link and also our email, savagescaled1@gmail.com, where you can also send us if somebody hit a PR at your gym. If you're an affiliate owner or even a member of a gym and you want us to come and visit to do an affiliate segment,
totally can.
You can email us there.
That's right. Love those.
If you have anything, insight on episodes that you want us to go over, or have questions about gyms, questions about CrossFit that we can answer also, feel free to email us there or DM us at Instagram at Savagely Scaled.
That's right. Did you sign up for the Open?
I did.
I signed up for the Open.
And I did my judges course.
Did you sign up for the Open?
You better sign up for the Open.
Let's do it.
We're going to make Maggie do that video again.
Do it, man.
But remember, don't be a Karen.
Be a Sharon.
And keep sharing, because that helps. Thank you so much, Blayne and Ten27 CrossFit, for sharing all that stuff too.
Thanks, I know. Guys. Had an amazing time.
Yep. And until we meet at the whiteboard again.
Let's do it.